Sometimes when I talk about my content, I say that it's like cringe adjacent. It's a little bit weird, this idea of putting myself out there. I'm your Korean dad, you know, because it doesn't make any sense. Why would this guy on the internet be saying this to me? Hey, I'm your Korean dad. I have 2 teenage daughters, and one day they came to me and said, you know, Dad, you should be making TikTok videos. And I said, what's TikTok? So I checked out the app for a while, and I kind of got to know it a little bit. And so then I asked, okay, I think I get it. Like, what kind of videos should I make? And they said, well, you're a coffee expert, so make coffee videos. People like to see that kind of thing, cooking videos, process, stuff like that. Some people think of me as a bit of a coffee expert. The coffee company that I run is called Wrecking Ball Coffee Roasters, and we have cafes in San Francisco and Berkeley, California. Right now, we're in Berkeley. Right away, I realized, like, that's my day job. It's kind of boring. What I really did was start to think a little bit more about how people engage with TikTok, like not like through the app, but like physically, like where are they? A lot of people were looking at TikTok in very intimate spaces, like sometimes curled up in bed. You know, what could I produce? What could I offer that worked in that space that maybe deserved to be in a space so intimate like that? You know, Korean culture is kind of trendy still, and there's that. And then I am a dad, so there's that part of it also. I'm offering myself up to the viewer, and because to me, in a lot of ways, like what's even better than trying to present myself like some kind of star or some kind of, you know, focal point, to make the viewer the main character. I'm just being me, you know. People ask my daughter, they'll be asked from time to time, like, you know, is he like that at home? Is that like him in real life? And they've basically said something like, you know, well, everyone gets the 2-dimensional version of him and we get the 3-dimensional version. And essentially that is, in a lot of ways, kind of who he is.
I met Nick during a pour-over lesson on how to properly extract coffee. And then we've been following each other and have been friends ever since. Nick has this way of making everything entertaining and effervescent and exciting. A lot of the things that he's truly interested in are subject matters that are accessible to most people at home.
Hey, I'm your Korean skateboard dad. I mean, I'm gonna try to be. So many of you have been telling me about how you love skateboarding and how you want me to learn how to skateboard too. You know, it's something that I really wanted to do when I was a young person, but I really wasn't allowed. But I'm glad that you're allowed, and it makes me want to learn. If it's something that you like, I want to try it too.
Literally, a friend of mine came up to me when I was working at a cafe and was like, oh, you always have a camera on you. Will you take photos of me for this project? And I just said yes. And there hasn't been more than 3 days since that day that I haven't shot something. It was just one of those things that it all just kind of came to me really quickly, and it stuck.
I grew up in Northern Virginia in the 70s and 80s. You know, experiencing a lot of racism growing up. And it was not an easy time for a Korean American kid like me. It really puts you in the position of being pushed out and observing life happening and trying to figure out like how I fit in. I don't know, there is a certain perspective in terms of being able to look out into the world and start to see your place in it and where you might be able to help, what you might be able to offer that meets a need, maybe more importantly, meets a need that's not really being met out there, at least not very well, or could just use another voice, a voice that looks and sounds like mine, maybe. People have compared me to Mr. Rogers. He's my hero because he's one of the most courageous people I've known from history. He had a vision for what he wanted to do, why he wanted to do it, and he did it. And he didn't change. He never compromised. And he didn't care what was cool or not cool. If I'm gonna get to keep doing what I'm doing, that I have a sense of what my vision and focus and purpose is. And in that Mr. Rogers kind of way, stick to it and never look back. This is a thing kind of popular in Korea. It's called finger heart. You can do 2, John. There's also hand heart. Great, let's get on. We gotta put our masks on. You wanna see if you can balance while the train's moving? It's kind of like surfing. Whoa, you okay? Let's sit down. Looks like they're getting ready for a parade.
instead of just watching, wouldn't it be so fun to be in the parade?
Something that a lot of us feel as content creators is there's a pressure to create a ton of imagery and a ton of content, and to also create things that are going to be memorable. In that sort of sped up psychology, it affects everything that we do. I have an opportunity to work with Nick to really show who he is and sort of take some of the pressure off of him to create the content so he can really be who Nick is. It's also a really opportunity to kind of spend a lovely afternoon with a friend that you really respect. And for us, it's this cool thing because both of us have grown so much since we've last seen each other.
Yeah, Sophia is such a firecracker, ray of sunshine person. You know, watching her develop as a photographer, no pun intended, that's a dad joke. I didn't mean it. I can't help it sometimes. I like her point of view and I like her style. And it's a little rough. It's, you know, it's a little bit like kind of candid and kind of has this sort of flash, like almost like a paparazzi kind of caught you off guard kind of vibe.
Things that I really want to do with Nick on this photo shoot. I mean, we're definitely getting in the kitchen. It doesn't even really matter what it is that we're going to do, but I'm going to be dying laughing. And I want you guys to see that.
It's like they start showing up to certain anatomy things.
No, keep that 90-degree arm right where it is. Built it all over my brand new counter. That's beautiful. How much do you hate this flash? Amazing.